G'day kids and grown-ups. If you are loving watching and learning with Ozzie, it would be amazing if you could please do me a really big favour and just tell anybody else that you think might enjoy it too. In the meantime, enjoy this brand new episode, and as always, stay keen.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie.
G'day kids, Ozzie here. Now who's hungry? That's right, and it's good to hear because I'm hungry too. And today we're going to learn how to make our very own pizza. And we're going to make it from scratch using this guy. How good is that, kids? That is a very specific pizza oven. You can see that it's got some wood burning away there, and that is going to give our pizza a beautiful wood-fired pizza taste. Now kids, you don't need your very own pizza oven like this bad boy here. I'm lucky enough to have one today and it's going to give our pizza a beautiful wood-fired pizza taste. But you can use a normal oven like you would find at home in your kitchen. Now pizza, kids, is what we call a sometimes food, isn't it? It's not really that healthy, but the best part about making your own pizza is you can make it healthy. That's right kids, by making your very own pizza, you can ensure that you've got the 5 different food groups covered in the one meal. How cool is that? Now do you know what the 5 different food groups are, kids? I can't hear you. Anyway, let's go through it. So, in our pizza, we can have fruit, there's 1. We can have vegetables, that's 2. We can have meat, that's 3. We can have dairy, that's 4. What's the 5th? 5th food group is grains, so we've got some flour. So that's the 5 food groups covered. Kids, today we're going to try and make a beautifully healthy wood-fired pizza. Okay, now kids, today we are going to make our very own pizza dough. You can go to the shop and buy some pizza dough, but today we're going to make our very own, and I'm going to show you just how we do that. Now the ingredients you need are simply flour, water, some yeast, a little bit of salt, and also some oil. Now kids, the first step to making our own pizza dough is measuring out the ingredients. Now we've got enough ingredients here for about 4 or 5 pizza bases, depending on what size you want your pizza to be. But we've got 500 grams of flour, we've got 300 mils of water. Now the key with the water is you can't use cold water, you don't want to use boiling water, you want to use what's called lukewarm water. So it's just in the middle. So get mum and dad to help you out with that, or a grown-up. And we've also got some yeast. We're going to have 1 packet of yeast, which is 7 grams of yeast, and then a little bit of salt and a little bit of oil. So step 1 is to take 1 packet of that yeast, and we're going to add that to our water. Now by adding the yeast to the water, that's going to activate the yeast. Now that's a big word, kids. Do you know what that means? That means basically to turn it on. So once you put it in the water there, all of the ingredients of the yeast, they come alive. So we've got the yeast in there, and we're just going to mix that together. All right kids, so you want to give it a good mix and make sure all of that yeast breaks up into the water. So now while we're waiting for that yeast to activate and do its thing, I've measured out my flour. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, just a pinch of salt. And that's probably enough. Now kids, fun fact, because you know Ozzie loves fun facts. Who knows where pizza comes from? What country? Italy. Very good kids, and that's why today I'm channeling my inner Italian to see if we can make the most authentic and best tasting, healthy, wood-fired pizza just for you. So once that yeast and that water has activated after a couple of minutes, the next step is to mix the yeast and water with the flour and salt. So pour it on there like that. and then just using a big wooden spoon, mix it all together. Okay kids, now once you've mixed it together a little bit like that, we're ready for our next step. So we're going to do what's called kneading. We're going to knead the flour, all right? And we're going to, before we do that, we need to put a bit of flour on our board here so that the pizza dough doesn't stick to the board. So this is called dusting. So we're just going to dust the board like that. All right, now is the super fun part. This is where you get to get your hands nice and dirty. All right, so we're just going to put that pizza dough on there. All right, now this is what's called kneading. So it's just mixing that flour and that water and the salt and the yeast all together and getting it nice and mixed together to make our pizza dough. So kids, this is my favourite part. This is the kneading of the dough. So you want to just fold it back on itself like that and then use the palms of your hands there, or the heel of your hands even, to just push it out, spread it out a bit more and fold it back on itself. And you're going to need to do this for about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And so you might get a little bit tired. That's okay. That's why you've got a grown-up with you or some friends or your brothers and sisters, because it's always more fun when you're making pizzas together. Now the aim of this is to get the dough to a point where it springs back. So we're not quite there yet, kids. We're probably going to need a couple more minutes, but as I said, this is the fun part. So enjoy it, have fun, put some tunes on and knead away. Now kids, the key to getting good dough is that you need to knead it for long enough until it springs back. I think it needs just another minute or so. All right kids, I think we're almost there. I'm going to give this the spring test. Look at that, it's springing back beautifully. So I think this is just about ready. All right, so the next step, once you've kneaded that dough, is to sprinkle a bit of olive oil on it. Now you don't need too much, you just need to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on there like that. And just cover the ball of dough. Get into a nice ball shape. Like that. Look at that. That's going to become the base of our beautiful pizzas. Right, then you want to put that into a bowl. Okay, just take a note of the size of that dough right now, because with all those ingredients, and particularly that yeast, that's still going to do its thing and it's going to grow even bigger. So you watch this. All right, so once it's in there, you want to wrap it in some cling film, some plastic wrap. Okay, so the key for making your dough nice and big and making it rise, or helping it rise, is to keep it warm. So we're outside and we're next to a beautiful big pizza oven, so I think a nice warm spot is over here. All right, so that's our pizza dough done. It's going to sit over there and do its thing, and you want to leave it for about an hour. Now, as I said, we're outside, so that's sitting in the sun next to a nice hot pizza oven. It's going to be nice and warm, so it's going to rise. If you're inside, just put it in a warm place. So while you're waiting for the pizza dough to rise and get bigger, we can prepare all of our ingredients. So when you're cooking pizza, the world is your oyster. You can have whatever toppings you want on it. But today, we're gonna start with a classic that I love and I loved when I was a kid, and that's ham and pineapple. What's your favorite pizza, kids? Now, what do we need to put on the bottom of our pizza? So on top of the dough, but underneath all the veggies and the toppings. Well, pizza sauce, of course. Now, there are different ways you can do it. You can just buy some pizza sauce from the shop. If you don't like sauce, you can have pesto, you can have a garlic pizza. There's all sorts of things. But one of my favorite things to do is to just get a tin of diced tomatoes, chuck it in the blender, and then voila, there's your pizza sauce. So now I'm gonna prepare all the toppings. Let's go, kids. We're gonna start with a beautiful green capsicum, also known as a pepper. Now, kids, I did forget to mention that whenever you're preparing food, make sure your hands are nice and clean. So give them a good wash before you're touching any of the vegetables and the food. So next thing I'm gonna prepare, kids, is some beautiful mushrooms. Do you like mushrooms? I certainly do. Now, kids, when you're using a super sharp knife like this, make sure you're taking care and you have a grown-up with you. If you're really little, then it's probably safer just to let the grown-up do it and you just stand next to them and watch and learn. So we're gonna prepare some little cherry tomatoes. Okay, what else goes really good on pizzas? Let's go for, should we go for some onion? Bit of onion, yummy. Kids, we've also got some other vegetables here. We've got some potatoes. This big guy, do you know what that is? That's a sweet potato. If you do like potato or sweet potato on your pizza, you can chop that up, and it's often good to give it a bake before you put it on your pizza. But I'm gonna go for some fruit on my pizza. Now, some people do like fruit, some people don't. I love pineapple. So, we've drained the juices out of there, and we're just gonna put some of that pineapple. All right, so that's gonna be ready for our ham and pineapple. Now we need to prepare our ham. Oh, yummy. Kids, look at this. And of course, kids, we've got our mozzarella cheese, which comes pre-shredded, ready to go on our pizza. And mozzarella is the best cheese to use on a pizza because it gets all nice and stretchy. But last thing to do is to make my sauce. So I'm gonna get in the kitchen and get that done. See you soon. So there you go, kids. I've whipped up our pizza sauce and we've got all the ingredients. We are ready to go. Now, once you've waited for about an hour, it's time to go and check that dough and see if it's risen and it's big enough, ready to go. All right, let's see how big this dough is. Look at that, kids. Come and check this out. Look how much bigger it is. That is like almost twice the size. And that's ready to go. That dough is ready to go. So we're just gonna take, I'm gonna take about a handful, like a grown-up size handful. So we're gonna need a rolling pin to roll that out and make it nice and flat. Now, before we roll that out, so that the dough doesn't stick to the board, we just need to dust it again. Now, I didn't point out this before, this is special pizza flour and it's type 00, which means it's really, really fine and perfect for making pizzas. So we dust our board. Now our pizza dough is ready to be rolled. Now this is the part where you kids can really get involved. It's super fun. So you just get the pizza roller and you just want to roll it out and make it in a big circle. So depending what size pizza you want, but I'm going to see if I can fill that pizza tray and make it about that big. Now kids, because Ozzie is pretending to be a pizza chef today, I thought maybe I should try what they do in the movies and in the pizza shops and spin it around. Woo! Bit hard with the wind. fun. All right, kids, what do you reckon? I think that's a pretty good shape and a pretty good size. So we're going to grab that pizza tray, slide that on there, and now we're ready for our toppings to go on top. Right, now first step for making your pizza is to prepare all your ingredients. We've done that, tick. Second step is to roll our dough out and turn it into a nice flat pizza base, tick. Third step is to then take our pizza sauce and just pop that on there like that. Our first pizza we're going to make is a ham and pineapple with a nice tomato base. I think that's looking pretty good. Does it look yummy? Oh, I can't wait to taste this one. Okay, now I like to put the cheese on next. So you put a bit of cheese on top of the sauce. Now pizza making comes down to your own taste, so you can have as much cheese or as little cheese as you want. Remember, cheese fits into the dairy food group, so dairy, we need to have dairy every day, don't we? So let's put some cheese on there, and that's ticked our dairy food group. Now this is a ham and pineapple, so we need to go for the ham, right? Let's put the ham. Again, up to you, personal taste, so however much ham you like on your ham and pineapple pizza. Yum, yum, yum. All right, now we've got the ham, we've got the cheese, we're making a ham and pineapple pizza. What's next? Ham and pineapple. Good job, kids. That's pizza number one. It's ready to go into the oven, the big wood-fired pizza oven behind me. So we're just gonna set that aside there. Now we're gonna make the second pizza, so we're gonna grab a big pile of dough again. All right, kids, this is making me pretty hungry, but I reckon we're about 5-10 minutes away from enjoying our very own homemade pizza from scratch. All right, so this is going to be a vegetarian. I'm going to use all these beautiful ingredients that we've got over here. There you go, kids. I reckon that this pizza is also ready to go in the pizza oven. So we have two beautiful pizzas. We have a vegetarian pizza, and we also have a beautiful traditional ham and pineapple. The next step is to make sure that our pizza oven is ready, make sure it's warm enough, and make sure there's enough room in there to put the pizzas in there to make them cook nice and perfect. All right, that's looking perfect, kids. I've spread those coals around in there so that the pizza's going to cook nice and evenly. Let's get the first one in the oven. I'm going to use this special thing to slide it in so you don't burn your fingers. And that is cooking. That's ready to go. So that's going to take about 5 or so minutes. We'll check it in a couple of minutes, maybe turn it around so that it cooks evenly. But far out, it's making me hungry, kids. Can't wait to get into it. All right, kids, now we've got one beautifully cooked pizza, but before we eat it, we need to chop it up. So we can use this wheel knife, or we can use this one like they use in the pizza shop. And again, super sharp, kids, so probably good to get the help of an adult. Oh. All right, I am super hungry and I cannot wait to eat that, but I'm gonna go and check on the other pizza. Whoa, what do you think, kids? Look at that. A vegetarian pizza. Looking very tasty indeed. All right, now we're going to cut. I'm going to show you how this one cuts. So there you go, kids. Two very tasty looking pizzas, I must say so myself. It's been so much fun learning how to make our very own pizzas. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you're going to have a turn yourself and make your own pizza dough and create your very own tasty pizza. Kids, we'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay keen. In the meantime, I've got to sink my teeth into a beautiful piece of this pizza. Bellissimo! Hey kids, did you have lots of fun today watching Ozzie? I hope so. Did you know that we've got a heap of Ozzie episodes on our YouTube channel? If you haven't already, go back and have a scroll through. I reckon you'll find some others that you absolutely love. And while you're there, why don't you hit subscribe? That way you won't miss out on any of our new videos that we bring out. We'll see you again soon, kids. Until then, stay keen. Oh, and by the way, did you happen to find the hidden Ozzie icon in that video? Yeah, make sure you look closely because they're in every single video. That's right. Stay keen, kids.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of